What would you do if the very thing that made your home yours, the walls you painted with your memories, your art, your soul, became the reason you were evicted? That's what happened to my neighbor, a kind, talented woman who poured her life into a house for over 3 decades. But when greed came knocking, she didn't fight back with lawyers. She fought back with something far better: patience and a paint sprayer. If you've ever dreamed of karma landing right where it belongs, smash that like button and subscribe, because today's story is one of the sweetest artistic revenges you'll ever hear. Everyone in our neighborhood knew her house. On the outside, it looked modest, a little cottage-like facade with climbing ivy, a few quirky decorations. But inside, it was like stepping into another world. Murals stretched from floor to ceiling, Disney castles, fairy tale forests, storybook characters frozen mid-dance. Every room told a story, hand-painted by a woman who had once been an art teacher, and later, the heart behind a paint and wine business that made everyone smile. Her name was Rebecca. She'd lived there since the mid-'80s. And she wasn't just talented, she was kind. The kind of neighbor who baked cookies for block parties, who offered to help you repaint your fence, even if she barely knew you. She had an understanding with the original landlord. The art would stay. It wasn't graffiti or damage, it was her life's work. He promised her over the years that the house would eventually be hers. But then, he passed away. When his kids took over the property, everything changed. One day, one of the sons came to inspect the house and brought along his daughter. The second she stepped inside and saw the murals, her eyes lit up. "This is it. This is the one I want." Rebecca's stomach sank. The son wasn't admiring her art. He was sizing it up. And within weeks, she got the notice. She was being evicted. No signed lease, no written proof of the original promise, just a flimsy excuse that the art was damaged. It didn't matter that Rebecca had poured 30 years of her life into that house. The new landlords wanted it for themselves. When Rebecca told me, she tried to smile, but her hands shook as she held the letter. I knew this might happen one day, but I thought I had more time. She was devastated. Her sanctuary, her storybook home, was being ripped away for the shallow whims of a spoiled girl who wanted a cool house. But Rebecca didn't wallow. She acted. She scraped together savings, searched tirelessly, and by some miracle, found a property in another state, a place with an art studio already built into the first floor. It wasn't just survival, it was a fresh start. And that's when the idea for revenge began to take shape. Rebecca didn't want to destroy the house. She wanted to leave it behind, intact, like a gift to whoever lived there next. But when my buddy, a professional painter, heard what happened, he made an offer. "Let me restore it Rebecca style, free of charge." She hesitated, but eventually agreed. Together we started clearing the house. We moved her furniture into storage, carried out decades of treasures. Meanwhile, she stayed in my buddy's guest house, rent-free, on one condition. She'd paint him a mural on his living room wall. It was a fair trade. And while she painted, my friend and I got to work on something else entirely. The first week, we stripped everything, sanded every wall, buffed away the murals. By the end, the house looked haunted. Smears of color, blotches where princesses and castles used to be. Then came the sprayer. My buddy had just bought a professional-grade paint sprayer, and he was itching to use it. With just 4 passes, an entire wall was swallowed in white. Not just white, Rebecca's least favorite kind of white. Cheap, soulless semi-gloss. He covered everything: the wood paneling, painted over in dull gray. The cabinets? Same gray. The trim, the counters, the switch covers, all smothered in that depressing flipper palette. We even gave the house a name, Rebecca Condition, because it looked exactly like every sad, lifeless, cookie-cutter flip job you see online. The house that once pulsed with color now looked dead inside. The final step was the outside. Rebecca had always wanted the cottage-style facade gone, but never had the heart to remove it herself. So my friend's buddy, a landscaper, made a deal. He'll do the work for free if he can keep the bushes. Done. He ripped everything out, tore away the cottage facade, yanked the greenery, stripped it down to nothing. Then he dumped gravel, sand, and dropped a single boulder for decoration. It wasn't whimsical anymore. It wasn't warm. It was cold, barren, dead. Exactly the opposite of what the landlord's daughter thought she was inheriting. Weeks later, I was fixing something at another neighbor's house when I noticed the art house. Still empty? Curious, I asked around. Another neighbor chuckled. "Oh yeah, they moved some U-Hauls in last week, but nothing got unloaded. Haven't seen them since." I couldn't help but laugh. That spoiled daughter must have walked in expecting a storybook wonderland, and instead, she got slapped in the face with Rebecca Condition. White walls, gray trim, a soulless husk of a house. All the magic? Gone. Rebecca may have lost the house she loved, but she left it on her own terms. The greedy family didn't steal her murals. They didn't inherit her art. They inherited a lifeless flip, a corpse of a home. Meanwhile, Rebecca started fresh. New house, new studio, new beginnings. And the greedy little daughter? She got nothing but regret. Here's the thing about art, about soul, about life itself. You can't steal it. You can't fake it. And when you try, all you're left with is empty walls and emptier hands. If this story gave you goosebumps, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. Because sometimes, karma doesn't knock. Sometimes, it paints the whole house gray.